the continent of Africa is blessed over other continents in the world because God placed us on a strategic position this planet. Then he gave Africa resources. Africa is rich in diamond. Africa is rich in gold. Africa is rich in uranium. Africa is rich in copper. Africa is rich in all precious minerals. But you wonder why this continent is so poor. Who cursed Africa? Because this continent is free from various natural disasters that strike other continents. Africa is not prone to earthquakes. Africa is not prone to hurricanes and typhoons. Africa is not prone to volcanoes. Africa continent, the continent of Africa, is full of tranquility. But what makes this continent so poor? The leadership in various countries in Africa. The poor leadership have promoted poverty in Africa. When I start from my own country, we have been fighting for almost 20 years for democracy. Now our democracy, the democracy of my country, Kenya, is now increasing. It's now expanding. But before we got that democracy, many people died for that democracy. Many people died for us to get this kind of democracy, the space of democracy now we are enjoying. But now you realize the new leaders who are coming to power now, they want to diminish. They want to contract. They want to reduce that democratic space. But what I'm telling my leaders, don't interfere with that space. Leave that space as it is, because we paid the price through our blood to have it. Don't trample over the democracy of people, because people fought for it to come. When you go to various countries in Africa, when you start even from Uganda, there is a dictator there called William VII who want to die in power, who brutalizes his opponents, who even tries to kill his opponents, who brutalizes young people of that country when they try to protest. It is in Uganda. You cannot even protest, even for 5 meters. You try to protest, you are killed, or you are brutalized, or you are taken to prison and imprisoned. Young people of Uganda, I'm calling upon you to rise up and take the leadership of your country. The wind of change is breathing over Africa. The wind of change is blowing over Africa. So as it will blow over Africa, young people are rising up. There are young people who are rising up in Uganda. And I just want to tell them to just continue taking a stand and lead them to your country. What we want to do in Africa, we want to expunge dictators from power forever. So even from Uganda, when you cross over to the DRC Congo, there is another dictator there called Laurent Kabila, killing his own people, killing his opponents, brutalizing his own citizens. That dictator has taken the resources of the country to his inner pocket. So you realize the people of Congo for many years have gone through turmoil, have gone through war, but you come to realize that many young people of that country, they have only known war in their life. So Africa is rising up. Young people in Africa are rising up. The wind of change is blowing over Africa, and it's going to remove these dictators from power. I know it will come to a time the young people of Democratic Republic of Congo will rise up, because this dictator wants to rule indefinitely so that he can continue to oppress the people of his country. So let us continue to pray for our brothers and sisters of these countries as they try to organize themselves, as they try to strategize. Let us be with them until they win this war. Even in Burundi, there is a dictator there called Pierre Nkurunziza, who want to stay in power indefinitely. Is now making an attempt to go for a third term, and on the process, he has killed many citizens. He is killing his own people because he wants power. There is young people in that country rising up who are taking a stand, and they want to salvage their country. And you realize all leaders in Africa, they are not coming out to condemn this action, because you realize, because even them, they don't have a moral standing of condemning that action. They don't have audacity of condemning the action, of the president of Burundi, who wants to go for a third term forcefully. The process, he has killed our son people. So I want to tell young people of Burundi, continue standing up, continue fighting for a change. God of heaven is on your side. And finally, you will succeed, because the wind of change is blowing over Africa, and it's going to expunge these dictators from power forever. So even what we are telling these dictators in Africa, prepare yourself, out of frontier, just go from power. Frontier, just frontier, remove yourself from power. Because if you don't remove yourself from power, people will rise up and they will remove you from power. And when they remove you from power, they will take you to prison. So, what I'm telling young people of Africa, in various countries of Africa, where there's oppression, where there's abuse of human rights, continue standing up, continue fighting. Don't give up, because history, because God himself is on your side. Even in Gabon, there is a dictator that they are killing his own people, who has decided to rule indefinitely. Even in Equatorial Guinea, there is a dictator there who is brutalizing, who is abusing fundamental rights of his own people, who wants to rule indefinitely. Even when we go to Zimbabwe, there is another dictator there, Robert Mugabe, who has ruled before even we were born, and he wants even to die in power. He brutalizes his own opponents. He brutalizes his own people. He brutalizes his own critics. The wind of change is pressing over Africa. It's pressing over Africa. It's blowing over Africa. And it is going to expunge these dictators from power. Even they will be taken to prison. So even I want to encourage young people of Eritrea who have never known freedom in their own country, because there is a president there, Isaias Afwerki, who doesn't want to go from power, who has ruled that country indefinitely, that country has never held an election, and there is no hope of holding an election because there is a dictator there. It's in Eritrea where you cannot even imagine to become a president because that dictator brutalizes his own people, kills his own people, takes to prison his own people. So we want to encourage young people of that country to continue standing. Take a stand, because the wind of change is blowing over Africa. The wind of change is coming to Africa and is going to expunge these leaders from power forever. So what I want to tell young people of Africa, let us unite. Let us rise up. Let us develop high level of courage. Let us develop determination and save our continent. We can develop our continent. We can make it better. We can make it develop. We can expunge poverty from Africa because we have resources, because we have techniques that is required to remove poverty from Africa. My own people of Kenya, I'm telling you, we can pick our countries to be developed because we have resources to develop our continent. So, we are giving warning to dictators that your time is running out, that you have no more time, because the wind of change is blowing over Africa. A wind of change is coming to your country. Young people of Africa are rising up. Young people in South Africa are rising up. Young people in Kenya are rising up. Young people in Uganda are rising up. Young people in Tanzania are rising up. Young people in DRC Congo are rising up. Young people in Mozambique are rising up. Young people in Zimbabwe are rising up. Young people in Nigeria are rising up. To take the leadership of their country. The wind of change is blowing. It's blowing, and it is this wind of change that will expunge poor leadership from Africa. It is this wind of change that will expunge dictators from Africa. We want to have leaders who can be able to develop Africa. Africa is in a dire need of good leaders who can develop that country. Good leaders comes from young people, so I'm encouraging young people from various countries in our continent to take a stand. Take a stand and let us save our continent, because I have hope that Africa can be developed, that the poverty that characterizes Africa can be expunged, so that we can have no more young people to die over Mediterranean Sea as they try to cross over Europe in search of a better life. We can make Africa better. We can develop Africa so that we can prevent young people who look for West, who look for abroad as an alternative for a better life. So young people of Africa, rise up, take a stand, and get prepared to take leadership of your countries. Our continent has been badly mismanaged by our leaders that we have. EU is full of corrupt leaders. We want to take young leaders into African Union. African Union is full of corrupt leaders. Even African Union cannot declare stand on what is happening in Burundi. They are silent, and their silence is disturbing. And their silence is disturbing. They can rise up. They can't rise up and talk about what is happening in Burundi. They are quiet when people of Burundi are being brutalized, when the young people in that country are being killed, when young people of that country are being taken to prison. Young people of Africa, rise up and let us save our continent. God gave us a beautiful continent. God gave us an amazing continent. God gave us an African continent. Young people, I tell you, if you take a panoramic view, if you stand up somewhere in a high position and you have a look at our continent, it is a beautiful continent which we need to conserve, which we need to protect. Young people of Africa, rise up. Let us take the leadership of our countries. Let us expunge poor leaders from power. Let us remove dictators from power and lead our continent. We can enhance democracy in Africa as young people. We can enhance human rights in Africa as young people. We can provide job opportunities in Africa as young people. If we take control of the leadership of our countries in our continent, you realize, even some people regret that they got independence. Because when white colonial masters went, the black colonial masters came in. And you realize that the independence that we got in Africa was a sellout, was a circus. The real independence never came. There are countries in Africa, people have never realized the real meaning of freedom. Young people of Africa, let's rise up. Let us stand up and take the leadership of our countries in Africa. That's my passionate appeal to each and every one of you as a young person.